What we're seeing right now is a work in progress prototype, in the sense that we have the different kind of environments laid down. We are experimenting with the ambience. We're trying to convey a game where we have a deep sea setting that is actually not dark, because overall the darkness problem is a big factor when we look at an underwater game, because we can make it fully black. If we would make a game fully black, the player wouldn't see much. So what we're experimenting with are different kind of environmental elements, like the sand exploration or the different kind of darkness factors. If we change to a darker setting, we can change that dynamically. We can change the dynamic light setting to even darker. That's the darkest one we can go. Or we can also change the color to whatever we want to change. For example, green in our case. Let's get back to the blue one. With a game like this, obviously we have the advantage when compared to similar 360 shooters that we have the environment. We can have flora, which is fluorescent. We can have living life like fauna, fishes, jellyfish, large creatures like whales, as well as tight cave systems that we wouldn't be able to have in space or air. And what we have been working on a lot with the Aquanox prototype is to actually get a nice layering system where the player can go deeper inside caves, in the sense that exploration gets a whole new meaning. Because beforehand, obviously technology would limit this. Now we have much more improved technology, better visuals, and better exploration options, along with keeping close to gameplay. What we're combining, by the way, is we're looking at the old Aquanox games and trying to improve a lot on what the people said that they want to improve upon. This includes, obviously, the more detailed world. That's the first thing. People were missing all the fauna, all the detail, all the flora. And the other thing is the complex ships and complex weapon systems. We have different kind of regions. We have the bar, we have the ship mechanic. And at the ship mechanic, what we see is, what it shines most is the Aquanox ship modularity that we're putting into the game. So players will be able to basically put together their ships in different kind of pieces, different fins, engines, trunks, cockpits. We have an equip slot, and we can just pick some of the parts and just remove it, replace it with a different part. And it actually shows visually right as the player is mouse overing it. We are, obviously, this is an early version, it's an experimental phase. We're trying around how to best find how people want to control this, how many pieces we have. I think we have about 500 million unique combinations right now with all the different kind of pieces in plan. So it's I can say endless, but it's virtually endless, because you can also even color the pieces. You have your different coloration, different kind of decals. Like if you want to put like a skull logo on the side of your ship, you will be able to put that on. And this really obviously shines in multiplayer, because we are going to have a drop-in co-op multiplayer, which will allow the player to play in single player. But if he decides he wants, okay, I want my friend to come on board and play with me, then he drops into his story. Now how this works is that we have four characters, and when the player is playing in single player, he can switch between them, the different kind of so to say, classes. I wouldn't call them classes directly, but each of these characters have a unique, distinctive stat. That means One of the pilots, well, not pilots, aquanauts, we call them aquanauts. One of the aquanauts has a better stat for fighter ships or fighter equipment. The other one has better stats for scout-like equipment. And third one for bomber, and the fourth one for the industrial ship. We have these 4 ship-based classes. What we see here, that's a fighter class. The scout obviously is more for maneuverability. They are smaller, they are agile, but cannot have as many weapons equipped. The heavy fighter obviously is slower, more clunky, more weapons. And the industrial ship is for mining and trading. We're looking at adding in mining and trading into Aquanox to add some extra layer besides just the pure combat, and obviously the exploration, which is a very big thing, salvaging sunken ships or destroyed bases, finding them, finding new equipment, unique equipment. Obviously, we're putting heavy emphasis on combat in Aquanox because Aquanox was an underwater shooter, and we have different kind of weapon systems to back that up. Obviously, we are focusing on scientific accuracy up to a level, as Aquanox was always known to be scientifically accurate up to a level. Obviously, it's science fiction. We do have some stuff that aren't real, but in the sense, we don't have laser zappers underwater. We don't have phasers and things like that because that's not, firstly, not fit for underwater. Secondly, that's so overdone. So we're focusing on weapon systems like torpedoes, mines, different kind of bio-weapons, bio-canister, like the green one that he's shooting, that one. That is like a canister containing bio-acid combined with some bacteria. We actually have spent a lot of research, surprisingly over 2 years of research went into researching a nice background for all our systems. That includes the weapons as well. So we have these bio and bacteria-based weapons. We have nanotechnology-based weapons, torpedoes, missiles. Some of them are inspired by, for example, shotguns. We plan a weapon that is going to work like a missile shotgun. It shoots out like a barrage of different kind of small stuff that homes in on the enemy, or weapons that do damage over time, like a splash. It splashes an acid on the ship. Or ramming. We even have something that we call ramming hulls. So the ship gets damaged by hitting other stuff, obviously. But we have some armor that kind of protects you from, so that you can use your ship to ram into other enemy ships. Because who knows, maybe someone, that's how he wants to play. So you have like a spiky nose, like on this ship, it has like a spiky nose in front. If you go to C and press Alt, has like a front that can punch into enemy ships and deal extra damage. Middle click, middle click. There we go. So we have this extra extrusion. It's not just purely aesthetic. It actually is to, in the future, serve the function of damaging enemy ships. Yes, this is the cockpit as it's going to look like in the final game. As you see, the interface is much clearer. The interface right in the cockpit right now, it's a prototype, obviously. But we're working on that. The only thing you not see here is the little screen. That's going to be your shipmates talking to you. What we're really focusing here with this is that we're trying to give the player the sensation and the feeling that, okay, I'm not sitting in my room, I'm sitting in a submarine. And that's why all interface is going to be fully integrated into your cockpit. Whenever you click on one of these buttons, you're actually going to see your guy. When you look down, you can look around the cockpit. You're going to see yourself. And when you click these buttons, you will see your hand reaching out and pressing those buttons and changing stuff. Or when you get hit, you see your hands flailing all around. And these are small things, but really add to the ambience, especially when we look at Oculus Rift. There's no question about having the ability to make a game that is not just about combat, it's really much about ambience and exploration, because that's a big part of Aquanox. Aquanox is a big part an exploration game.